In this video, if you watch all the way to the end, you're going to learn how to have a 100% happier and safer sailing trip.
Hello and welcome to the Sailing My Magic channel. My name is Duke and I am solo sailing Magic, my 2015 Lagoon catamaran, around the world. During my travels, I've come across tips and tricks that I now think are essential, so I wanted to share them with you. The Americas, Japan, and Korea are the only countries or areas that use red right returning. The rest of the world uses green right returning. During the American War for Independence, the US also used green right returning. However, we wanted to confuse the British and have them crash their ships on the rocks, so the Americas became red right returning, and when we invaded Japan and Korea, or assisted those countries, we made them red right returning also. The rest of the world has retained green right returning. There are some important tips coming up. If you need one, buy two. If you're cruising around the world, you'll find that most of the islands that you stop at are small and don't have a chandlery or proper marine parts store. So yes, if you need one, buy two. If you need two, buy four. If you have a catamaran or other twin engine boat, then it goes, if you need two, buy four. But on top of that, if you're going on really long passages and less developed areas, you might just need to buy four or even six anyway. Some of these tips will keep you safe and others will prevent you from becoming frustrated. Reef a half an hour before you need to. When the wind picks up, it becomes harder to put in another reef. So reef a half an hour before you're really going to need it, and that will make it much easier on you. Please click on like and subscribe below. It's totally free and it really does help me. Take an extra reef before the sun goes down. That works the same way for approaching nighttime. If it's starting to get dark, put another reef in before you have to get out there and struggle with it in the dark. Weather forecasts more than 3 days old are guesses. In weather forecasting, there's what they call the chaos theory. And that means any weather forecast more than 3 days old is just a guess and not reliable. Sometimes a guess is better than no information at all, but you shouldn't count on it. You really need some way to update your weather forecast while you're underway. It's better that you watch this video to the end instead of learning some of this stuff the hard way. Have at least 6 gallons of bottled water for emergencies. Bottled water for emergencies isn't just so you can throw some into your lifeboat if you need it. Sometimes your water pump's going to go out and you're not going to have easy access even if you have a tank full. So yes, get the bottled water for emergencies. Always have an abundance of canned food on hand. Freeze-dried food lasts a long time also, but you need water to prepare it, and usually it needs to be cooked. Canned food is already pre-cooked and you can eat it right out of the can, and it lasts for years, even beyond the time that it says it's expired, and you can treat it roughly. You can throw it into a life raft or dinghy or something and it's not going to do much more than dent the can. Lots of canned goods. If an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, then watching a tip or two is worth your safety and happiness. Always have an abundance of canned food on hand. Estimate the number of days the passage is going to take and then double that for food or water requirements. The problem with estimating how much food and water you'll need, how many days your passage is that it never comes out correct. You hit doldrums, you hit a current, a storm comes in, you have to detour. So always double your provisions and water requirements. Always have backup navigation systems and charts. Your chart plotter with navigation charts on it is a wonderful thing, but I think you should also have both a tablet and your cell phone with Navionics or some other charts on it, just as a backup. You never know when a lightning bolt or something is going to fry your boat system or some other catastrophe is going to happen. I deliberately make my videos short and fast-paced so that you can get through them quickly. In a thunder or lightning storm, put a tablet or your cell phone on a glass dish or a rubber pad inside the oven. The oven will act as a Faraday cage. If you get struck by lightning, your charts stand a chance of surviving. You never run out of projects to do on a boat, but remember, you have $1 million view every day. Don't forget to enjoy it. Most people get a boat to enjoy themselves. However, a boat takes a lot of maintenance work. Don't forget to enjoy the little things in life. When you arrive in a new country, calculate the exchange rate on several price points and memorize them. The reason I tell you to memorize the exchange rates when in a new country is you won't always have access to the internet, and if you memorize a few basic ones, it makes it easier for you. I'm in New Zealand now, and the basic exchange rate is a New Zealand dollar is worth 60 cents American. If something seems like a really good tip to you, you should probably write it down so you don't forget it. So I can extrapolate that and say a $45 something or another in New Zealand is $27.50 in US, or a $30 something or another in New Zealand is about $18 in US. When you arrive somewhere, always find the ATM machine, a place to buy a SIM card, and the public dock. There are certain basics that you're always going to need. And I mentioned the ATM machine, a place to get a SIM card, that sort of thing. Obviously, a grocery store is going to be very helpful. A fuel dock. Of course, the public dock is not usually the same as the fuel dock. And you might want a marina. So study your charts before you get there so you know where you're going. It makes it much easier. Keep watching so you don't miss out on this important section. It's better to be safe than to be right. The rules of the road are a good example. Most people believe that the general rule that a sailboat under sail has the right-of-way covers everything, but it doesn't. There's smaller rules like if the sailboat is overtaking and passing another boat, then the other boat has the right-of-way. Or if you're going around a huge commercial boat, they can't stop for miles. You have to get out of their way, even if you're sailing. So don't insist that you are right. Just stay safe. Have a great time, but drinking alcohol while underway is contraindicated. The Coast Guard has told me that 80% of the drownings that they investigate are related to alcohol, as well as a majority of the boating accidents. There is only a couple of minutes left, but there's still some stuff that you want to hear, that you need to hear. Yes, some of the best stuff is last. Cook a big pot of something before you leave. You can always add canned goods to it since the canned goods are already cooked. Boiling or frying something while underway can be extremely dangerous. I've had big waves hit the side of my boat and stuff go flying across the room. Not just a foot or two, but literally across the room. So my advice is boil some rice or noodles or something, a big pot of them ahead of time. You can add different canned goods to them as you go along. If you've got a microwave, you can do a quick reheat. That usually only takes a minute or so, so stuff isn't going to go flying with that, and you'll be much safer. You should have a good knife in your pocket while sailing. Getting tangled in a line can be deadly. Now, lines on the deck are difficult because you have to step on them or around them. They can get tangled around your legs. You can get hooked by a fishing line. So keep that knife in your pocket. Your EPIRB should be located somewhere near the exit. Your EPIRB is your electronic position indicator radio beacon. It's a safety device. You'll want to grab that as you go out to get in your lifeboat or to hook onto your life jacket. So keep it handy. Please click on like and subscribe below. It's totally free and it really does help me. While underway, use a jack line to secure yourself to the boat. A jack line is a line that runs along the perimeter of your boat on the outside, on top of the deck, and so you can snap a harness onto it and be able to walk around out on the deck in a big storm, or once in a while you get hit by rogue waves, so it's not really safe to walk out on a deck unless you're snapped in. Safety and happiness never go out of style. You should always have a handheld radio as a backup. A handheld radio is handy for many different things, not just for an emergency. If your regular radio goes out, you'll have a backup, but also sometimes you want to have a friend go out or you go out in the dinghy and a friend remain on the boat, then you're still in communication with them. And several other uses. You can contact help if you need to when you're in the dinghy, that sort of thing. Now it's time for you to grab a sundowner and relax.